Okay.
So they like, take your clothes off and, you moving slow. They like, girl, hurry up. Like, take your clothes off. Like, damn,
So it turned into something.
Exactly. Like
okay.
this is my dignity. But they're like, girl, take them clothes off. So then you got the, your ears, your mouth, you know what I'm saying? You got the lift, under your arms, you wiggle your toes, your hair if you got hair. And then like the worst part is you have to bend over, squat, and cough so they can make like a cavity check. They have to make sure ain't nothing up in there. You ain't trafficking nothing. So you got these officers, and it's one thing when you have no clothes on and somebody is doing this and they have clothes on. So it's like the other girls, it's embarrassing too, but at least you're naked with me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel as degraded, but you have these officers who have clothes on. So it's like so degrading, and you have to just like bend over. They want you to like spread your cheeks and they want you to cough. And it's just like, it's so degrading. And then after you go through all of that, you sit up there, this process takes hours. You have to go through everything, and they got to get you bedding, they got to get you clothes, like then they got to find you somewhere to go, because like it's so many beds on the compound. So it's like, okay, these 3 going to November dorm, these 2 over here going to Mike, these 2. So you sitting up there all morning, and then you get your bag and you walk into the dorm. So all y'all walking out, and you on the compound, and you see all these people, and it was like this spirit of like depression just like fell over me as I just like was walking, and I seen these people, and like it was just like this hopelessness feeling, and realizing like this is what I have to do for the next 10 years. Like this is my life. This is my life.
You don't get like no time served or nothing like that?
You get gain time, but you in the state of, it just depends off your state.
Like from being locked up the whole time that you was in jail?
Oh yeah, I got credit for time served, and that depends on if the judge wants to give you credit for time.
Jesus, what kind of finesse is this?
Yeah, they gave me credit though. I had like 100 and some days. I think it was something. I don't remember.
Almost 6 months.
Yeah. No, I had 10 months in the county.
Oh, 10 months. Okay. All right. So then you go in, and they give you a cell and everything like that? Do you automatically get like in a cell with another person? What does that look like?
It just depends. Most of prison is open bay. And what open bay is like a big room like this with a bunch of bunk beds, and that's how y'all sleep. So you have open bay or you have rooms, but most of prison for females in the state of Florida is open bay. It's like a big ass sleepover.
So it's open bay. You ain't know nobody in there, I'm assuming.
No.
Was you scared?
So I had heard so many stories about prison, like they gonna try to take it, like they gonna take your stuff, like they tell all kind of stories and stuff, and then you watch all these movies.
You hear the stories about the guy prisons. You don't really hear anything
exactly, which is worse. So you just automatically assume that female prisons is gonna be just like male prisons,
right? So
now you got this Orange is the New Black, so they got a little look into it, but I ain't even watched the show, so I don't even know if it's spot on or not, but. So, I'm like, I was like, when I get to prison, like I grew up fighting. All I did was fight, so a fight ain't never been nothing for me. So I'm in the county, and they like, they gonna try to fight you. They gonna try to, and I thought I was gonna go YO because I was so young, because you can get sentenced as a youthful offender where you are around like younger people, and you're not in general population. But they didn't end up sentencing me to YO. So I used to be in there like doing like 250 push-ups a day, because I'm like, listen, I ain't finna get in here and tussle.
Oh Jesus.
I'm in there doing my push-ups, my crunches and all, because I'm like, listen, I'm already like I ain't trying to tussle, I'm trying to one hit a quitter,
Oh my God.
So I wasn't. I was just like, who? You know what I'm saying? I'm finna get up here, like, you ain't going down like that. Like, this ain't what you want, little dog. So I did my push-ups and everything in the county, because I'm like, I don't know what they thinking, but it ain't going down like that. So I get there, and it's like, I was scared, but not scared like I thought somebody was gonna harm me. Like I was scared that I felt like I was gonna have to defend myself, like, and I didn't want to do that, because it's just like, I from the streets. Yeah, I fought and stuff, but anytime you go somewhere else, you don't know who these people know. You don't know who clicked up. Like, you don't know, what I'm saying? I'm beefing with you, but that means I'm beefing with all of them too. Yeah. So it's like, I was scared of that. But it was this older lady, that was in the dorm with me, and she knew my mama from, like, I guess they ran together back in the day. So as soon as she seen me, like, everybody tell me I look just like my mama. I don't see it.
So she but automatically seen your mother and you.
Yep.
From the similarities.
Yep. So when I walked in, and you know, I got my little bunk and everything, and then she ended up like coming over after I got out the shower and everything, and she was like, "Excuse me, baby," and she was like, "Can I ask you where you from?" And I was like, "I'm from, Lake Placid," and she was like, and she called my mama name out, and I was like, how you know her? And she was like, "Oh, we used to roll together back in the day." And I was like, "That's my mama." And she was like, "You look just like her." And
you don't think you look like your mother?
I do not think I look like her at all. Like, not even kind of. But everybody, like, even growing up, they used to always just be like, "Yeah, that's the little one right there." So she was like, she sold, cigarettes and stuff. So she was like the plug, so she made sure I was straight. So, one time for Mondukes, she looked out even though she didn't know she looked out.
Yeah.
But she made sure I was straight. Like, I got put in the perfect spot, and it's just like, my whole life, God has moved in mysterious ways for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in the lowest of the lowest, like, I could always see him. Like, even if it was in the smallest details, like, he never left my side. And it took me a long time to realize that, but he never...
Were you more of a God-fearing type of person prior to being arrested?
No. My granddaddy was a pastor. We was raised in the church. Like, even when my mama didn't go to church, we had to go to church. Like, when you went to church, and wasn't no sleeping, no texting, no talking. You went to church. So I grew up in the church. I knew about God and all of that. You know what I'm saying? But I only knew about the God people talked about. I only knew about the God people talked about in those stories, like in those Bible stories. Like, when I went to prison, I know God for myself. Like, I know who he is personally. Like, so there's no comparison. Before I went to prison, only time I thought about God was when I went to church. He was never a thought. If something wasn't happening or something wasn't going the way I wanted it to go, not one time did I ever be like, "God, can you," like, or God, never. I relied on my own mind, my own instincts, my own, like, just me. And it took me going to prison for me to gain that relationship.
Was it anybody that influenced you while you were there to take on more of a spiritual path, or was that just something that instinctually was just within you and that's just something that you explored yourself?
That was just something that was just inside of me. When I went to the county jail, and I was going through all this stuff, whatever, and like, I was just going through it. Like I told you, I was angry, acting up, acting crazy, cussing people out, slinging stuff, flooding cells, all kinds of stuff.
In prison?
When I got in the county jail, I was so angry.
Oh, okay.
I got most of my anger out in the county jail. So when I went to prison, like, I was still angry, but I wasn't like as reactive angry as I was in the county. Cause like, in the county jail, I'm talking about, I was flooding the county.
Why?
I was like
why
throwing
like
stuff because I was so angry. And I told you I grew up fighting. So I only knew how to process my feelings and emotions through a negative way, which was anger. That was the only emotion I allowed myself to feel. So every single feeling that I had channeled into anger. I did not know how to admit somebody let me down. I did not know how to admit that I was sad. I didn't know how to process disappointment. None of that. Everything went automatically to anger.